We're here today to raise awareness about the needs of children in foster care. In any given day in Louisiana, there are nearly 5,000 children who are in the state foster care system. These are children who have done nothing wrong. They are victims of abuse and neglect. The only thing they done was to trust the people who were supposed to take care of them and love them and nurture them. And we're here to raise awareness about the needs, about the challenges that they face every day of their lives, and how we as a community can make a difference. Very small things that we can do to make a difference in the life of children in foster care.
One of the things that I love about the CASA program is that I feel that it displays the best of the human spirit, which means everyday citizens who make a decision to become a part of the solution as it relates to child abuse and neglect. You can come in with no prior experience in the court system or child protection, just have a heart for children, be able to go through our training and screening processes, and you can be well on your way to advocating for a child in the court system.
The beauty of CASA is you have one CASA for every child or group of siblings. And so that becomes the most important case for that particular volunteer, whereas the professionals involved may have anywhere from 30 for case managers to 100 for the attorneys. They can't give that child the individual attention they need to get the information to make the best decisions. And that's one of the more important roles that we do, is call attention to what's going on and bring information to the table and smooth that process along. The research bears out that children who have a CASA volunteer get more services within the system and have a better outcome.
CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates, are programs across Louisiana that recruit, train, and supervise volunteers who become advocates for children in foster care. In Louisiana, CASA serves over 4,000 children who are in the foster care system, and we have some 2,000 volunteers.
There is nothing more rewarding than knowing that you've made a difference in the life of a child who's been put in bad circumstances, who is a victim of neglect, abuse, drug use, and all the other things that can go wrong in the life of a child.
I grew up in foster care, started out at age 4, aged out age 22, and mentorship played a big part in my life. Typically, children who grow up and have maybe lost a loved one or lost their family, or in my case, have grown up in foster care or stayed in group homes, they have a tendency to feel alone. And also, in addition to feeling alone, they have a tendency to not really be able to get along with the large group. So to have a mentor, someone who can be with them one-on-one and spend, that quality time with them, it kind of helps build them up and allow them to be productive in society.
These cutouts surrounding us represent real children in foster care. And these cutouts began in Washington, D.C. in front of the Washington Monument several years ago to bring attention to the need that these children have for an advocate. We always need more CASA volunteers. Our goal has always been to serve every child, and we were very fortunate to reach that goal about a year ago. But unfortunately, children continue to come into care, so we always need more volunteers to come forward and go through our training and be an advocate for a child who's been abused or neglected. Our volunteers typically spend 10 to 15 hours a month doing their advocacy work. We want a CASA volunteer to only have one case. It could be one child, or it could be a group of siblings, a family, because we want them to become the expert on these children. Volunteers actually go to court and present information to the judges who have appointed them to the cases. So we don't want them serving 2 or 3 or 4. We want them to become an expert on one child or one family.
Clearly, you giving somebody advice, but when you plant good seeds in someone's life, they in turn go plant those same seeds in others.
I had a rough childhood, in and out of care, but just had an abusive home, abandonment, drugs, alcohol, etc. And so it's so important to overcome the difficulties, to have someone who believes in you, who will give you a chance, who will kind of what I call rub them the right way. We all have those people in our life that makes a difference. It doesn't take something extraordinary. It doesn't take a lot, but it's just that little, that breath of fresh air, that believing. I often tell people that I believe I can do anything because there's people in my life that believe I can do anything. And so just getting the awareness of the importance of investing in the life of a child.
We have 4,557 children in foster care today. Over the course of a year, we typically serve over 8,000 children in the foster care system annually.
If you are interested in being a court-appointed special advocate, you need to be 21 years of age as a minimum. You will go through an intensive screening process, which will include a background screen, as well as a child abuse registry check and a personal interview. Once you go through that process, we'll tell you a little bit more about what's involved in being a CASA to make sure it's a good fit for you. It can be kind of a very demanding volunteer experience. If you decide it's a good fit for you, we have about a 30-hour training that you would go to. Each program, there are 18 programs across the state, has their own training department, if you will, that will put you through the training. And once the training is over, you will be sworn in by a judge in your local area and then asked to accept a case. And we ask that you commit for 1 year, and that is a long commitment for a volunteer experience, but these children experience a lot of change in the foster care system already. And we don't want to be one more element of change, because we know with change there's grief and there's loss. And so we're hoping that the volunteer can remain with that child for a minimum of a year, even though each case usually lasts more on average about 2 years. Certainly we're hoping that you can stay with us for those 2 years, but if you need to end after your 1 year commitment, we ask that you work with us to transition on a new volunteer to that case.
Our program has been in existence since 1993. We currently serve a 10-parish service area, spanning from many rural areas to outside of Baton Rouge. We are in Livingston Parish, which is one of the highest-ranking parishes for child abuse and neglect, unfortunately. So we have a waiting list right now of about 100 children in that area. So we're really seeking out people in that community that want to give back, that want to speak up for children, because we desperately need it in that area.
We need people involved at every level. We need people from the community. That the easiest thing that you can do that doesn't require a lot of effort is to tell people about CASA and that we need people involved. Certainly one of our needs is volunteers. We need them all over the state. Last year we had over 1,800 volunteers active, serving over 4,100 children, which was pretty phenomenal. But we still have 2,000 to 3,000 children in foster care who still need an advocate. So we need volunteers. We need folks from the marketing community to speak up and help us get the word out about CASA. We need people to give money. Most of our local programs and our state organization or nonprofit organizations, so we're always raising funds. We need folks to serve on our board of directors all over the state. Our boards are community oriented and people from the community to make decisions about what needs to happen, and down to simple things like helping stuff newsletters at local programs. There's lots of things that we can do.
What our hope is that we put this message out to the community, to the policymakers, anyone who will listen, that we have to make children in Louisiana a priority. Making children in Louisiana a priority is the fundamental building block to economic development, improved educational outcomes, and an improved quality of life for children. Annie E. Casey Foundation produces this annual report. It's called the Kids Count Data Report. They rank states for the quality of life we provide our children. Every year they have done this ranking. Louisiana has ranked 49th. We are second to last in the country in the quality of life that we provide for our children. Now, there's no magic fix and there's definitely no finger pointing, but we can all work together as a community. And I think a healthy start to working together, to improving the lives of the children in Louisiana, is by providing some focus and some resources and some volunteerism to children who are in foster care.